Cyclone MMA. Michael Chandler versus Conor McGregor needs to happen ASAP. This is one of those fights that just makes all the sense in the world for both fighters. The fans would love it. It just makes so much sense. I don't know why this isn't booked like right now. I know Conor McGregor is no longer in the testing pool, but set it, 8 months from now, have him just do a crazy training camp until then, and then just have the fans eat this up because I want to see this. I know Conor wants to compete in 2023. I know Michael Chandler really wants this. So there were rumors about this fight recently. Dana White was asked, I think, by Brett Okamoto. He asked, what's next for Conor? And Dana basically said, I don't know what's next, but I think it'd be cool if he fought Michael Chandler. He was asked about this again at the UFC 282 press conference, and he denied saying that it's official. Like, no one thinks it's official, but it makes so much sense. So Conor McGregor, he's coming off of 2 losses to Dustin Poirier, and then before that was the Donald Cerrone fight, which just didn't make sense. And I feel like his comeback fight is going to be a Donald Cerrone type fight. It's going to be someone who isn't really riding a lot of wins. It's going to be someone who he can definitely beat and kind of get into the swing of things and try to get another W on his resume. Michael Chandler is going through some similar times right now, right? And he really wants this Conor McGregor fight. He calls him out like every single fight. But Michael Chandler, so came over from Bellator, and he's just put on spectacular fights, right? He fought Dan Hooker, knocked him out in the first round. Had a banger against Charles Oliveira, lost. Had a banger against Justin Gaethje, lost. Had a highlight reel knockout against Tony Ferguson, one of the best knockouts of all time, probably knockout of the year. We'll see. And then he fought Dustin Poirier, another absolute war. He lost this fight, so he's got 3 losses and 2 wins in the UFC, and he is an action fighter. I think when he came over to when he came over to the UFC from Bellator, UFC fans they didn't eat it up that much. I think they were like, oh, okay, whatever. But now they love him. This dude's beloved. He's an action fighter. He puts on bangers every single time he fights in that octagon. I think he deserves to get a Conor McGregor payday. And I think it's a great matchup. I think Conor can beat Michael Chandler. With that being said, I think Michael Chandler can absolutely beat Conor McGregor. I think the wrestling gives McGregor issues, and I think the power of Chandler is something to not overlook as well. I think it makes sense. It's one of those fights where, if you're Dana White, you don't want Conor McGregor to lose. You don't want him to get another L, so you don't give him, a Charles Oliveira or an Islam Makhachev or something like that. You give him someone like Michael Chandler where he has a fighting chance. I'm not saying that McGregor automatically wins this, but, Michael Chandler can get cracked, and Conor McGregor has that left hand. It's a piston. He absolutely can knock out Michael Chandler. I just feel like it makes sense because if Michael Chandler wins, his stock rises, and he totally can be a superstar. He's already kind of knocking on the door of that. And if Conor McGregor wins, you have your superstar with another W. He just fought someone who everyone respects, and then you can probably throw him in for a title shot. I'm not saying he deserves a title shot. I'm just saying with a W, Conor McGregor's probably fighting for a title. That's just how the UFC works. That's the Dana White privilege that Conor McGregor gets. I don't know why this fight's not already booked. If I was making fights for the UFC, this is like the top of the list because you can put this as a main event. You don't need a title. It's Conor McGregor, and it's going to make a ton of money, and it's going to be a really, really fun fight because Conor McGregor doesn't have boring fights, and Michael Chandler doesn't have boring fights. And the lead up to this is going to be spectacular. Conor McGregor talks shit. Michael Chandler has a way of getting under people's skin. Dustin Poirier is a nice guy. Dustin Poirier was almost the villain going into that fight against Michael Chandler because Michael Chandler was able to piss him off that much. The press conferences are going to be great for this. It's going to make a ton of money. It's going to be super entertaining. I don't know if anyone's against this fight. I think it's awesome. I know people want to see McGregor fight someone legit. They don't want to see him fight some schmuck. And at the same time, they don't want to see him get a title shot right away. I think this is the perfect middle ground. And it's something, too, where these guys are coming off losses. It just makes sense, guys. It makes sense. What do you think? Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler. Is there a better matchup out there for each of these guys? I think this is a match made in heaven. The only one I would substitute is maybe Justin Gaethje versus Conor McGregor. I think that could be cool too. But this is the top priority for my 2023 fights that I want to see. McGregor, not Poirier, Jesus. We saw that 3 times. McGregor, Chandler, make it happen, Dana. Make it happen, Hunter. All right, guys. Peace out.